We're going to get right into our amazing topic this evening. Our guest today is Erwin Annau. Will be giving a presentation on their beautiful freedom community in Paraguay. One of our Life Force members, Wendy Robinson, also lives there, and she's going to be sharing her story as well. Now, those who are here live with us, we recommend that you write your questions in the chat, because after Erwin's presentation, we're going to open up for a Q&A session with our fabulous trustee, Esther. Now, El Paraiso Verde is a gated parallel intentional community colony with 99% unjabbed settlers from Europe, North America, and Australia, and it was established about 9 years ago. All of you received the email when I sent it out. They have very little interference from the government, as Paraguay's constitution grants its people a lot of freedom to choose their own medical modalities, education, sovereign living, freedom of thought and beliefs, and of course, freedom of movement. I am just going to pass it right over to you, Erwin. I know that our members are really looking forward to everything that you have to say this evening. So welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Karen. So I think the best way to set the stage is to play a little video so that you see right now in present time, we have a condominium. It's called Paraiso Homes, where you have 1,711 title properties on about 14.39 square kilometers. That's the whole project. We have built about 24 miles of roads, and we have dug out about more than 1 million cubic meters of dirt, and made lagoons and rivers and lakes. And let's just see the video, because then you get an impression of how things are. So I'm just gonna share the screen here.
Ein Ort, an dem die Natur noch atmet. Tief in diesem Wald. Wild, lebendig und voller Geheimnisse. Über dir recken sich uralte Bäume in den Himmel, durchdrungen vom schimmernden Licht der Sonne. Um dich herum ein endloses Meer aus Grün. Die Luft ist warm, schwer, erfüllt vom Summen der Insekten und den fernen Rufen unbekannter Wesen. Hier begrüßen dich bunte Vögel. Scheue Affen. Und eine Stille, die mehr sagt als jedes Wort. Dies ist kein Ort, den man nur betrachtet. Es ist ein Ort, den man fühlt, den man wirklich erlebt. Ob beim Wandern unter dem Blätterdach schmalen Pfaden zu Pferd oder im tiefen Atem des Augenblicks. Hier lädt dich ein Paradies ein, anzukommen, in der Natur und bei dir selbst. Ein Paradies, das wir schützen wollen. Für morgen. Für uns alle.
Started out in 2015, we started out. My wife got the Deagle report. I don't know if you know Deagle, the Deagle website. And she noticed that that a lot of the European population would be vanishing by the year of 2025. And also the North American population would vanish, but they would not show up on another place on the world. You need to research Deagle. They actually knew about COVID, and they published everything in 2015. And so my wife kept looking for a place where we could go, where there were no volcanoes, no earthquakes, no tsunamis, no wars, and where you could actually have freedom. The Paraguayan constitution gives you a lot of freedom, and Paraguay is very sparsely populated. So naturally, you have more freedom than when you live in an urban area. And so my wife actually found Paraguay as the solution that had the most positive points. I studied that too, and then we agreed, and we started a project here. We started it with a guy who knew the president, knew all the presidents, all the judges, and all the attorneys general, and he knew everybody here. And actually, the cousin of the former president Cartes was our second director. And with them, we got all the permits. This kind of permit that we have here will never happen another time in the world. Let's just look at the project here. I'm going to share this here vision. If you look at the project here, this is the project. When you look at the map here, then you see the agricultural area is all of this around here. This part is part of a natural reserve. It's a huge reserve. This is just a very, very small part of this reserve. A bird sanctuary. We are a worldwide bird sanctuary. 142 species of birds can be found in our homeland. And this is the agricultural area. And here's the river Pirapo. It can be a pretty large river when they have a flood. And here is the condominium, and it is surrounded by a dam. The dam street, I have all of that here. The dam street is 3.05 miles or 4.91 kilometers. We have built 24 miles of roads, and we have excavated 1 million cubic meters. The lakes alone are 42.2 hectares, and the waterways are 7.21 kilometers. So we've made a sort of Venice, kind of thing with lagoons, with rivers. None of that was here. Let me just show you what it looked like. Now here you see the settlement. You see all these rivers, lagoons, and canals and lakes. And you know what it looked like when we came here? This is what it looked like when we came here.
Incredible.
Nothing. There was nothing here. And this is what it looked like when we came here, and now it looks like this. So we have 120 houses built, and as you say, roads. We have 2 fiber optic lines coming in. So everything is set up. And just to give you figures, we got in about $100 million US. We paid out about 25 million to people that left, people that didn't want to stay here, and $75 million have been invested here. And anyway, so we started out in 2016 with the founding of the company, and in August of 2017, we started with construction. and everything went well. COVID was very interesting because nobody wore a mask here and nobody was jabbed. And we killed COVID in Paraguay. Was a big effort, but we killed the lockdown. We killed the face diaper. We killed the vaccination. We just spread the rumor that men get impotent if they take the jab. Whatever. You know, we did a lot of crazy things, which means we had a lot of enemies too. And this is basically in all of my life. I never kept my mouth shut, so I have always had a lot of enemies. I told the people about finances and stuff. But anyway, so in 1922, we got in about 24 million US dollars in 1 year. And then at the end of 23 and the beginning, end of 22, beginning of 23, something transpired. You must imagine, me and my wife, we've worked 100 hours a week, 100 hours a week for 10 years, almost 9 years. And I've done more than 2,500 Skype and Zoom interviews with people that were applying for this. We have taken care of the monthly investors trip, monthly investor week. We have taken care of the settlers. I have planned houses. I know how to plan houses. I've done 3Ds. I planned the whole thing. By the way, this was planned by my wife. What you see here, and you can see this from Google Earth, was planned by my wife. And we oversaw the construction. And at the end of 22, beginning of 23, something transpired that we had corruption in our place. And there was, in 23, like end of 22, people started complaining about they're not getting the services, they're not getting money back if they wanted to get out. And more people were complaining. And so in 23, I had to sort of drop my work, which was promotion, marketing, sales. I mean, I got in 100 million. And people say, well, how didn't you see the corruption earlier? And dude, and I've been working 100 hours a week, you know, how do you, and I should audit the books in the same time. But in 23, I started auditing the books and finding discrepancies and finding more and more discrepancies. And the whole thing resulted, and every time we discovered some corruption, somebody got fired. So part of the management got fired. But in August of 23, it was clear that our president, who claimed to be my brother and claimed to be my friend and claimed to live and die for the project, had been the head of this whole corruption of an organized criminal group inside every apartment of our endeavor. So while we were out there raking in the money, same thing happened to, by the way, to the Ubuntu guy, you know, what was his name, the guitarist? No?
Tallier.
What?
Michael Tallier?
Same thing. While he was raking in the money, holding lectures all over Europe, the guys in South Africa robbed the whole place blind. And so I investigated the whole thing, detected it, and I confronted the former president of this company with the missing money. He ran out in a storm, of course. When people have something to hide, they always run out, they always explode. And then we had to take over the management. And ever since, there has been like all these things about fraud, etc. And you can forget that because I have more than 5,000 personal clients. I've been doing financial consulting for 40 years. I have more than 5,000 clients and not one single liability lawsuit. I was a CPA. I had 600 clients. I had not one liability lawsuit. And my clients have, most of my clients bought physical gold and silver. You know how happy they are? They have 5x their money. The people that came into El Paraiso Verde 9 years ago have 20x their money. So out of my 5,000 clients, 99% are happy. And 1% is unhappy. And the 1%, and that's always what happens, the 1% makes the noise and the 99% shut up. And that's basically one of the things. The internet right now is just nothing but a a place for psychopaths and sociopaths to dump their negativity and ruin everything that's decent. So anyway, so my wife and I, we kicked out the guy. We found that about more or less 15 million US dollars were missing. Big deal, not a big deal. I mean, that's for me, that's 9 months of work to get in 15 million. But they can't imagine that there are people that can make this kind of money. So my wife and I said, well, we bring this in order. And ever since we have been doing rescue packages, now we are at the 6th one, and the 6th one will be my last one. And then we will retire, and we will let this place grow by itself. And the 6th one will be a tokenization project. And when you look at this, these are the plans. There will be villages that will look like this: Greek villages, Mediterranean villages.
Yay! I'm excited now.
Like Burlingame or like Bucios villages. And this all is planned. And I have a young group of people that will tokenize the whole project. And they are willing to invest another 135 million into it. But, and here comes the big but, they only trust me and my wife. You know why? I mean, I have so much money, I don't need any money from the project. People don't realize, the ones that are libeling and slandering us, they don't realize I don't need a dime of this project. I will only do it if I have people that come here that are not traumatized by the events. I mean, going through, realizing that you have a criminal management and going through all of this, a lot of these people that were here are traumatized. Half of the settlers, well over half of the settlers, are great people, wonderful people. They have overcome this trauma, but there is still a group of people that are still stuck in that event. So anyway, so this is what this project can look like. Everything is planned. We planned for 1.5 years, tokenized the whole thing. The whole thing was appraised for 135 once it's developed. The whole thing is, as a business plan, everything is done. I make money somewhere else. My clients right now 15x their money, but with a real world asset. No, I don't need to do this project. It's here. It is here. You know, let's put it this way. Nobody ever survives the pioneer phase. I now have accounts from at least a dozen of people from South Africa to Canada, from Brazil to Thailand, that have gone through disaster capitalism. That's what it's called, by the way. The technical term of this is disaster capitalism. Every big project in the whole world will run into the psychopath and will ruin it. Everyone. Once you have 20 people in your group, 20, you have one sociopath in it. So now if you have 100, you have 5 of them in it. And we had about 600 people here. We had 30 sociopaths in it. And they will always ruin everything. And you know why they ruin it? Because the decent people, the people like you and me, people that have a soul, not everyone that you look at has a soul, you know. That's another subject, you know. But you're looking at somebody, but you don't know yet on the first glance, does he have a soul, or what is it that is in this body? So anyway, so the people with a soul, they walk away. They don't fight. They don't stand up. And the only difference was my wife and I, we stood up. We brought these guys to trial. We brought them, we'll see. Paraguay is very slow. The judicial system is very slow, but we brought them to trial. We put in 5,000 pages of irrefutable evidence, audited by the highest authority of the criminal courts of Paraguay. It's ironclad proof who done what, no? Ironclad. And now we are at the point where we say, we've done it. It is here. There is $75 million invested. All it needs is people that come here and so roll up their sleeves, take a shovel, and darn well get to work. Because one of the mistakes we made, we didn't tell people, if you come here, you need to work. You need to integrate yourself. You need to take over responsibility. We didn't say that like enough, you know?
Why don't you show the pictures of?
Yeah, I can show you some pictures.
We'll
Like
show you the
what
pictures
this
of what's-
community was,
What's been
what this
accomplished here.
community was accomplished here. Let me just get this here. Here, let's just run through some photos. I'll go into the share mode again. So, and now we should be on share, and now you see some photos.
Yes.
So we had a lot of fun. Asados, singing. This is the Bam Bam Bo. This is our coffee shop. People, happy people, arm wrestling in the Bam Bam Bo, smiling people. This is me, and here you get a lot of smiling faces here, a lot of youth, and there was a lot of stuff like this happening. This is karaoke, by the way. We always had a karaoke once a month, and yeah, there was a lot of love here. And dancing, Wendy, this is Wendy's dance class. Here you see Wendy.
I had a dance
Yeah.
class.
And so a lot of community, a lot of really nice things here. Yeah, we have culture. We have a Blüthner concert piano, and you see, we have a concert organ in the back. We have a stage. I used to play my Santanas and stuff. I don't have time now to play guitar. Anyway, so this is the techno party, and here people are in the canals with the boats. You know, this is river rafting, lakes. I mean, this is El Paraiso Verde like it should be, could be, and like it always was. Lakes, lagoons, people having parties, pizza party at somebody's home. So, and karaoke again, and playing piano, and of course a bonfire. And here is another lake. This is Lago Pará, a beautiful lake with a villa. You see a lot of houses were built, 120. And here's like yoga and gymnastics in the Madonna wood. This is Hans with his bananas. And here you see houses from all views. This is Piratava, a children's playground. So if you look at, yeah, we have a horse farm here that could be extended, and a restaurant. This is the kitchen. And well, now swimming, right now we have summer. It's very hot. The water is hot, actually. So the kids having fun. It is a paradise. There is an alternative clinic, the Lavero clinic in Asunción, and there's an alternative clinic in Villarrica, 75 kilometers from us. And they're wonderful. And alternative medicine is here in the Constitution. The two things in the Constitution, one of them is that you can decide on your own treatment. And the other one, you can decide for your kids, for your family members about the treatment. It's not like in the United States when you say, my kid is not going to get a chemo in the United States, and in Canada, they take away your kid. Here, you decide. And by the way, it is so much rooted in Paraguay that the native population first goes to their shaman. Well, first, they consult the shaman, and then they go to the doctor. Now, the more educated or the more modern Paraguayans, of course, first go to the doctor. And there's a lot of alternative doctors. There's a lot of alternative dentists too. So it's very interesting. They're more advanced. And actually, the reason why we came here was because we were doing health seminars. I had about 50,000 people in my lectures on 2 continents. About 30,000 made seminars of 1 day to 4 days. And part of the seminars were health seminars. Most of them were financial seminars, and part of them were health seminars. And we were holding a health seminar called Rejuvenation. And we did that in Vienna. And it was so successful that my wife said, we need to get out of Vienna because I have a doctorate in law. So I'm legally trained. I'm a CPA and legally trained. My wife also is not a medical doctor. And here we were holding seminars, and people were just doing what we told them in the seminar, and they were losing their cancer and their heart disease and their diabetes. And we did this for a while with people that we knew, people that knew us. But then suddenly people came into the seminars that we did not know. And one day my wife said, you know, if somebody has a tape machine running or a phone, a recording running while we hold the seminar, we go to jail. And that was one of the reasons why we went to Paraguay, because we originally wanted to make an alternative health center and continue with our seminars. But it never transpired because we underestimated the effort. I mean, if you have 5 huge excavators and altogether 12 excavators excavating every day, you don't have time for a health seminar. You know, you don't have time for and not for meditation. You need to see that the roads are built and the lakes are dug out, and basically alternative health is something we always wanted to do here, but you know, it takes people that take initiative. You know, we're trying to find out why is it that we have not realized everything. You know, when people come here to say, how did you do this in that short amount of time? But the truth is, there's much more we wanted to do, but it was a lack of people that have initiative, pioneers, people that are movers and shakers, doers. And this is why I also turn to the Americans and the Canadians, because the movers and shakers in Europe, there are many far in between, how you say, you know, there's not many movers and shakers. You know, 4 generations of socialism made people pretty inactive. And I always had a problem living in the United States for 10 years. I moved things, and I underestimated or I overestimated the amount of people that would come and actually take it in their own hands, run with it. You know what I mean?
Now they may have some questions.
Okay, so question, all you found?
Actually, Wendy, I would love for you to take a few minutes here and share what inspired you to leave Canada and find this amazing paradise.
So I heard about this community in Paraguay and I looked it up on the computer, I researched it, and I decided that it was futile to fight against, you know, the government and fight against the conditions that were all over Canada. And I decided that I would leave Canada and that Latin America would be a place to go. And so I looked at different Latin American countries. And then when I found this community, because they had already been established for 8 years at that time, I thought that's amazing because many of these communities fail. And so I came here one way. I came with just a few suitcases and I knew that I wasn't going to go back home to Canada again. And I've been here for almost 2 years and I've been very happy here. And my life is more at ease and I can live off my pension here. And I work in sales and marketing because I work with other families who perhaps would like to leave their country and come to a community like this.
Wonderful, Wendy. I love your adventurous spirit.
Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, she's an idol for me, you know. She just takes the suitcase and comes here. It's wonderful.
Erwin, I have a few questions that I want to ask before I pass it over to Esther. How far away are you from the nearest town? I guess that's where you get your supplies from. I think that Ascension, as far as I remember, is about 4 hours away from you.
The nearest town is 11 kilometers away. That's Casapa. It has about 4,000 inhabitants, and there's a lot of shops, boutiques. There are restaurants. There are you can get pretty much everything for your daily life about 11 kilometers away. If you go 75 kilometers away, you're in Villarrica. Villarrica already has about 70,000 people living there, so you're getting more. And Asuncion, the capital, is about, depends on how you drive, 4 hours, on an average 4 hours drive. We have an airport in Casapa that's also ready for jets. And by the way, it's a 1,600 meter asphalt runway. So that's enough for a small jet. Even for a small Airbus would be able to land, probably, would work. And that's 11 kilometers away from us. And by the way, the tokenization project, they wanted to do a golf course and an airstrip on the property, because what they want to do is the new owners of those about 850 lots, they bought about 850 lots, tokenize that, develop the project, and then sell the lots, you know. And right now there's about 300 lots for sale, and the 850 lots are locked until this developed. And they will do an airstrip and a golf course, and they want to upgrade it to a very high quality community, a gated community. So everything is actually closer than you think. There's a clinic in Casapa. There are 2 university clinics in Villarica and 1 alternative clinic.
Wonderful. Now, if somebody here wanted to travel to Paraguay to come and see you, what would be step 1, step 2, etc.? You would come to, they would, I guess, leave from, I'm just going to use Calgary, for example. So I heard that WestJet now has a direct flight from Calgary to Panama and then Panama to Saint Jean. And then you would pick them up and they could stay for however long. And what would that look like?
Okay, so we can pick them up. We have a taxi service that can pick them up and bring them here. We have a hotel with 88 rooms. Let's put it this way, we have rooms, and not like when I say hotel, people have a different standard. For Paraguay, it's top standard. For an American or Canadian, it's not top standard, but it's clean rooms. We also have apartments with a kitchen. And what we advise you to do is rent one of these apartments or rooms and come here for a couple of months, come here for a couple of weeks or a couple of months or for a year, and the business model changed. You know, El Paraiso Verde was ended a year ago, and now it is a community called Paraiso Homes, and the intentional community, the people who want to be autonomous, it's called Piratava. And in Piratava, we have a hotel. So you come here, you rent, and then you look how it is. Before that, we had a model where people needed to invest. People needed to even invest before they came here. And they were like the first step was investing. Right now, don't invest. Come here so nobody can get screwed. Nobody buys something they don't want to buy, because what the real stress is, you sell about 600 lots, and you have 50 people that buy a lot, many of them without even seeing it. And a month or 2 or 3 later, they change their mind. And they change their mind, and they come to your office as a real estate developer and they say, you know what, I changed my mind. I want to have my money back, and I want it on Friday. And if you don't pay me on Friday, I'm going to do a bad video on TikTok.
It's crazy.
So that's called blackmail. But that is what happened 20 or 30 or 40 times. Those are those bad videos that you see on about El Paraiso Verde, which is ended. This was one of the reasons why we ended it, because the business model did not work. You know, you sell 600 properties and 20 or 30 of these people start blackmailing you with bad videos. It doesn't work. So right now, the model is different. You come, you rent. Don't invest, you rent. And when you feel good here, then you start looking around, and now you buy the lots from other settlers. You don't even buy it from me or from the developing company. You buy it from other settlers. The title gets transferred to you. You have a title. For like 6 years, we didn't have titles, you know? Now we have titles. You get a title. If you want to buy, we also have about 7 or 8 houses for sale. So you can go and buy a house. You buy it directly from the previous owner, and you get a title. Totally different project, totally different business model. Nobody needs to spend any money unless they want to. I have a program, and I have already made a couple of very happy people, where if you have a time to consider, let's say until the year 2028, you invest about 40,000 Canadian dollars now, and in 2028, you can easily buy yourself a lot, build a house for about 500, 600,000 Canadian dollars. And it works. And I won't explain it today. You need to contact me and I'll explain how it works. I do not run after anybody. No, to get a presentation to say yes or no. We are very relaxed because this opportunity will be gone in about 3 months. And it's had nothing to do with Bitcoins. Everything is solid. Everything is real asset based, real assets. I'm dealing for 20 years now in real assets, and everything is possible. Look at silver. Some of my clients, 20x their money. No, so I know what it is, asset based investment. No, so but nobody has to. But if you have 40 to 50,000 Canadian dollars and you want a plan B, then contact me, get in contact with me. I'll tell you how it works so that if you say, no, I'm not sure if I'm going to leave, I'm not sure if maybe everything goes fine, maybe Alberta joins the United States, whatever, if he wins, I don't know, we'll see. No, but for those who are not urgent to emigrate, those I would recommend I make you a plan for 40 to 50,000 Canadian dollars, where in 2028 you have a decision. If you want to come, you can buy a lot, you can build a house, and you will have an asset value of about 300,000 to 500,000 Canadian dollars if you want to do that. And I think that nobody else can do that. And I know nobody else can build a community like this. Nobody else can do this. And you know what? I'm not happy about that. I wish I would be more of an ordinary guy, because the hatred, the envy, all of this criticism comes because people can't fathom that somebody can do it. And I would rather be a normal guy, live a normal life, and basically that's where it's at. So you guys need to take a look, decide either to stay here or say, you know what, that's a good plan B, I'm going to prepare. And even if you don't come here in 2028, you have the money. It's independent of if you come here or not. You just increase your net value with something that has real world asset value. No, anyway, so I'm
Thank you,
thinking.
Erwin. Very exciting. Okay, I'm going to pass it over to you, Esther. I know we got quite a few questions in the chat.
We do. Someone says, I was in the south of Brazil for 9 months, also visited a little bit of Paraguay and Argentina in the border area towards Brazil, 2003, 2004. Paraguay was very poor then. Garbage was everywhere, barely any roads paved. How is the political and economic situation now? Is it a reasonably stable country, given that no countries are really safe?
Okay, Paraguay has for over 70 years has had one currency. Paraguay was always a very stable country, but it's underdeveloped because it's 1.5 times the size of Germany, and it only has 7 million inhabitants. That's about Greater Berlin. So it's too little of a population to get into more development. This is why Paraguay is the cheapest immigration. If you want to immigrate into a country, probably Paraguay is the cheapest to get in and get a permanent residency here. Paraguay needs the foreigners. Paraguay needs more people. And yes, of course, this is the reason why there's not that many roads paved. Well, the main roads are paved. That's not a problem, but there is a different degree of development compared to Argentina and Brazil. That's correct. But in Brazil, you have a leftist government. You have a lot of rules. Under COVID, it was very restrictive, very bad. They wanted to force vaccinations. And Argentina still, even right now, it's not recovering. Argentina has had 100 years of socialism, and they're not recovering. Milei is not going to cut it the way he wanted it, because it's too much in the socialism is in the head of the people. The Paraguayans are freedom loving. They have their own guns, and they are different. Paraguay has many advantages. It also has disadvantages, and this is why it's good to come here, because you know what? We have made every mistake you could make possibly in this country. We have seen everything here. And it's good to learn from our mistakes, because whoever learns from his own mistakes is smart, but whoever learns from the mistakes of others is truly wise.
Thank you. And there are several people asking about the process and how much it costs to move there to Paraguay and then to your community.
Okay. Now, if you just want to be here a guest for a month or 2 or 3 or 6, then all you need to do is get here with a suitcase. We have a restaurant, a coffee shop, and a bakery here. So you can live here. You don't even need to have your own kitchen, but most people do that. We have a mini mercado, a little market, so you can get your things. I think having your own transportation is good. A lot of people have motorbikes or tricycles, or you have a little car. You get yourself a used car. You can live here at the property in Piratava or in El Paraiso Verde. You can live here with about, I'd say, 1,300, 1,400 Canadian dollars. I think you can live here.
I have 2,000.
You have 2,000, then
Yeah, in my pension.
yeah. So that I think America and Canada will be countries where living on 1,500 or 2,000 Canadian dollars will be harder and harder.
Thank you. I think Wendy has answered this, but just, is it possible for people who are getting Canada pensions and old age security in Canada, if they move there, can they still receive those pensions and live off them?
Yes, so
Wendy.
I left Canada, almost 2 years ago. I still have a bank account in Canada, and I have an address and a phone number in Canada. And so my pension goes right into my bank. And then here I go to the ATM machine and use my access card, and I take my money out and I use it. That's how it's done.
That's one way to do it. The other way, I did it because I also get a pension. I'm 71, so I do get a pension for six years already. And I have a bank account in Paraguay, and my pension comes to my bank account in Paraguay, and I write the check when I need money. It's not a problem. If you have a permanent residency, you can get a bank account.
Thank you. And you mentioned earlier when you said tokenized the whole place. Can you explain a little bit more about what that means?
Okay. Right. Let's put it this way. About 850 properties plus another more or less 100, close to 1,000 properties were not sold. When we needed to take over, my wife and I, in October 17th of 2023, when we took over the management of the whole thing, and then we looked at the place and said, we've accomplished a lot, but we need to have a new model of financing it and of finishing it. And what's going to happen is the whole place was appraised by a specialist team, and they said the place right now, the undeveloped lots that the new owners have bought are 11 million US dollars. And developing it would be another more or less 80 to 90 million. And what they do is they are issuing tokens, like a digital security. A token is a digital security, and it's an asset-based security. Right now, they will issue 11 million tokens, which are resembled in the land. The value of the undeveloped land that they bought is 11 million tokens. So they issue 11 million token and buy the land, which actually has been done already. No? So the next thing is, once they are in the catasta, once they have their titles, we will get together and we'll say, how many tokens are we gonna issue for the first developing stage? I have already earmarked a section of the property where we will put in paved roads, sidewalks, and fiber optics, water, electricity for a small section of this big settlement. And then an appraiser comes every 3 months and determines if the value has increased. And if the value has increased, we can issue more token. So there always a token resembles the value of the property. And this is step by step. We will develop this whole thing until about 108 million. It's about 135 million altogether with the sales cost, the marketing cost, and the management cost until that value has been reached. And I like the digital thing because there is no possibility for fraud. It's on the blockchain. Everything is programmed. Everything, the smart contract, everything is done. You put in your money, and all this sequence of steps is done automatic. Nobody can screw anybody in this. I like this very much. I mean, I wish I would have had this model 9 years ago. We would have saved $15 million. That's the way it is. But this is the way it's going to be done. And when the development is done, then the utility token gets changed to an NFT, a non-fungible token, which means the original token gets burned and gets for that per property, one token gets issued. So you get a token for a property. Right now, you are owner of all of the undeveloped land. And when the land is developed, we will burn the original token and issue non-fungible tokens for each and every lot. No? And then you buy the non-fungible token, and you are actually owner. With the purchase of the non-fungible token, you are a rightful owner, titled owner. We will still do the paper process in Paraguay for the security, but this is how this gets developed. So for all of these who are interested in buying a property right now, there is about 300 properties from settlers that have invested previously that are going to sell. So in the next 3 years, 4 years, you will be able to buy any of these 300 properties. The new owners will start selling when the development is finished. They will not sell these properties until 31. And I'm so happy to get specialists on it, and they entrust the money to me. Says everything. They say, Erwin and Sylvia, you need to overlook the whole financing because you know every pitfall in this country, and be sure when you emigrate, you get screwed. No matter what country you're in, no matter what country you go, if you are somebody emigrating into another country, somebody will screw you. And you know what? You don't need to learn Spanish to get screwed in Paraguay. The Germans get screwed by the Germans. The Dutch get screwed by the Dutch. Probably the Canadians by the Canadians. It doesn't matter. So this is our world. And this is why I like your website so much, because we wanted to have a world on honesty, on integrity. And I mean, somebody once said, me and my wife, you guys are too good for this world. It's probably what it is, because I always trust people. Big mistake. Big mistake, I'd be happy to talk an hour about my mistakes, because
I think that could be a whole other section on this. And we may or may not get to all the questions because there are a lot. So thank you for that openness. Oh, what's the percentage of expats to locals, and are the locals happy with the balance? I'm going to say in Paraguay in general, and then in your region in particular.
Paraguay as a total is the most foreigner-friendly country on earth. That has a reason, because in 1870s, when there was this big trilateral war against Argentina, Uruguay, and Brazil, 98% of the male population was killed. And they rebuilt this whole country with about 28,000 men and with the women. And so Paraguay was, even before that, Paraguay was always friendly to foreigners. They know that without the foreigners, nothing works. Without the Dutch, without the Germans, without the Japanese, without the Canadians, the Canadian colonies already in Paraguay. So without these foreigners, nothing would work. There wouldn't be an industry, there wouldn't be an agriculture. So this is one of the big pluses of Paraguay. You're loved here, you're welcomed here. 90% of the Paraguayans are honest. I've never, in my hotel, 88 rooms, 3 or 4 times, my cleaning staff has brought like $5,000, $6,000, $8,000 that people had forgotten in their rooms. They brought it to me, all of it. I've never seen this before in any country. 90% of the Paraguayans have an open heart, very friendly, absolutely honest. 10% are criminals. That's what you need to know. You know.
That says it all. And I'm sure there's more to know. How many people live in Asuncion right now?
Now 2.5 million. Out of the 7.5 million, 2.5 million live in Asuncion.
Okay,
Great task.
great. Thank you. And do you have, I think Karen has somebody, but do you have a list of contacts who assist with purchasing property there?
In Asuncion,
Probably, let's ask it both ways, in Asuncion and in your
in
area.
my community, just come here and Wendy shows you around and you select the property you want to purchase. And this is a process we know how to do. In Asuncion, I don't really have people. The problem is recommending somebody. I got a little cautious recommending people.
Thank you. And I know Karen has Pierre that she recommends as well. How difficult is it to bring a dog into Paraguay?
I mean, yeah, you
It's
need.
expensive.
What's that? It's expensive.
It's
Yeah.
expensive because we just had a Canadian family bring their dog here, quite a large dog, a Pyrenees. And it was $10,000 for them to bring the dog, more money than it cost for themselves to come.
Amazing.
Because
Wow.
we couldn't get a flight out of Canada for that dog. They drove their dog to Miami. They had to have a big enough cage so their dog could, move around in it. And the dog had their own people taking care of them during the flight. The dog's flight was delayed. And so even the cage, to bring the dog was $5,000. So it is expensive to bring your dog here.
Not every dog is 10,000, but it does cost a lot of money to get a dog here because the airlines are making a lot of trouble, especially with larger dogs, transporting them.
They had a large dog.
But basically, you can bring your dog, of course, not a problem.
Thank you. Since 2022, are there vaccination requirements to get into Paraguay now?
Well, for human beings or for dogs?
Human beings, we're moving
Never
off of the
has
dogs.
been. Was always a lie. Was always a lie. Never has been, and not yellow fever, nothing. They just put it out, and the people that don't read the fine print, they get vaccinations. You never needed one. I've been in and out of Paraguay, and my wife and my family, and nobody ever got vaccinated. Yes, I was asked on an airport, did you have your COVID vaccination? And then I said, I don't need one. Oh, yeah, thank you.
Okay, well, that's very clear. Approximately how many people are living in your community right now?
200, about
Okay.
150 adults. The youngest one is maybe 2.5 years. The oldest one is 88.
Well, we have a baby.
We have a baby
9
now,
months.
9 months.
Beautiful. And how big could your community grow to and expand to? What would your max be?
I planned it for 6,000 people. And I planned it so that 6,000 people could actually grow their own food, be completely energy independent. And that's what we also would wanted to do. I mean, this was all in the plans, be completely energy independent, be food independent, grow your own food, have your own meat, have your own milk, everything. And we can do that for 6,000 people.
Thank you.
It is 7 times bigger than Monaco, by the way.
Right.
This country, we built a country. And now we need the people that actually roll up their sleeves and do something in the country, not have me and my wife pull the cart. And that is basically where it's at. This is why I need the Americans and the Canadians, because they are pioneers.
They're entrepreneurs.
That's entrepreneurs. And I mean, that's the truth.
Can you talk about taxes in Paraguay? I know Wendy responded a little bit in the chat. Can you just clarify when people come into the country, what's this tax structure? What would they be required to pay when they get there?
Okay. Foreign income is not being taxed. So I normally make about between $500,000 and $1 million a year, no, with what I'm doing with my job. No, this is my hobby here. El Paraiso Verde is my hobby. And I don't pay any taxes because I make the money abroad. So this is very good for digital nomads. They can work here on the internet and never pay taxes. If you have a business in Paraguay, like you make a bakery or something, or a boutique, then you have 10% VAT. You have 10% income tax. And if you have a corporation, you also have 10% corporate tax. but the tax write-offs are very, very generous. So if you have if you have a good accountant and you know your way around, you probably pay zero taxes. You can write off things I would never be able to write off in Austria or in Germany. No.
What is your approach in the community toward using fiber optic without Wi-Fi so that wireless EMFs are not a problem for the people who are electrosensitive?
Well, the original plan of El Paraiso Verde was absolutely without any Wi-Fi. That was the original plan. And this is also the same thing. You want to know the truth. Sylvia and I, we stood firm. There was no Wi-Fi. Then, okay, in the hotel, we need a Wi-Fi. Then we said, no, from 10 o'clock at night to 6 o'clock in the morning, there's no Wi-Fi. And slowly the community becomes soft on it because there's not enough people that have a fixed opinion. For me, I wanted to have a place where Wi-Fi is not bothering you. Right now, what is the situation right now? In the hotel, there is no Wi-Fi from 10 o'clock to 6 o'clock. That works because I have the say in the hotel. Outside, still the rule is your Wi-Fi is not allowed to bother your neighbor. So you have to adjust it in a way so that your neighbor doesn't have one, so that people who are sensitive, actually, they can find a home here. We have had very sensitive people here, very sensitive people, and they actually could live here. So that would work. And it also needs a community of new settlers that are enforcing the rules, because some of the people now are getting in Starlink, and it's not good. And we had a rule, no Starlink in El Paraiso Verde, So it needs people like you, sensitive people, come here and say, you know what? We want no Starlink. We want no Wi-Fi. We want to be EMF free. It was originally planned and it was enforced as long as we were like really active. But it takes a lot of force if you're alone, doing that.
Thank you. And two quick ones, I think. Is there a school? I'm assuming there's school. Yes?
There is a school. It is only has a few students. But we have built 7 pavilions for a school. We have built a school with my money. We built a school. It's there and it's not being used that much. There's like 5 or 6 children. I wanted from the get-go an English-speaking school, American, Canadian,
International.
an international school where the predominant language is English, and then they would learn German and Spanish. And the kids would learn how to excavate with an excavator and how to plant a tree and how to grow a garden. It was all in the plans, but it takes the people that do it. We have a school, we have the building. We also have the legally required 5,000 square meters of schoolyard. That's my property and my wife's property. We donate that, but we need people that come here, a young couple or 2 or 3 or 4 teachers to say, you know what, we're going to start an international school here. We've had all these programs. You learn how to plant trees, you learn how to grow the garden, you learn how to ride a horse, you learn how to like bricklaying. We have a shop where you could learn woodwork, but it needs the people that do it. Everything's here. It's like the whole world is here. All we need to do is repopulate it.
Thank you. You talked about you and your wife having strong personalities and that leadership is important. Do you operate by common law, natural law? Do you have a philosophy on that?
It was founded on the principle of natural law. Don't do unto others that you don't want to have done to yourself. And it was natural law, mutual respect and mutual benevolence. And on that, you can build this whole community. That's basically how we founded it.
Great. Thank you. And what are the sizes of the properties, and do they vary?
They are from 250 square meters to 10,000 square meters. Every size and every class of price on a lake, on a lagoon, on a canal, without a lake, private lake, more than 1,000 properties. There's no property like another.
Hmm. And do people have a say of which property they can put an offer on, or is that determined?
No, no, of course you come here, you see what's available, and then you offer, and then you buy. No problem.
Thank you. And Wendy's answered this question in the chat. What are the main languages on the property? And I saw she said German, Spanish, and English. And there are some people who speak 6 languages. Anything else you want to say about that?
Just
You
that,
know more than I do about
just that
languages.
there are many Europeans here and they do speak many languages and they pride themselves on that. And it's a wonderful thing to see, actually. And the children here often will speak, 3 languages. So Spanish, English, and German. This was a German colony, founded as a German colony. Most of the people who first came spoke German. And so there's lots of German here.
Yeah.
Great. Now we'll get into a really practical question. Tell us about the mosquitoes.
It's a good question. Yeah.
Yeah.
There are mosquitoes, but I lived in Florida for 3.5 years, and there we had a bird cage, because you couldn't go out in the pool because of the mosquitoes if you didn't have a bird cage. In Paraguay, we don't have a bird cage, which means the mosquitoes are much less than in areas like, for instance, Florida. Or in Canada, in summer in Canada, in New Brunswick, where the lakes are, and on the East Coast, I mean, you cannot be out in the evening because of the mosquitoes. No, that's nowhere near. We always are sitting outside. We don't have any bird cages. We don't have any mosquito nets. We sit outside. We sit outside during dusk. We sit outside in the night. Yes, there are mosquitoes. And probably also after you've been here a year or so, your body adjusts to, it's not, yeah. It is not a problem.
Thank you. Since we're on that topic, what's the temperature range? Is there a hot climate? Is there a rainy season? What does that look like throughout the year?
Paraguay does not have a particular rainy season. There are just like in May, April, May, and in September, there could be a little more rain, but we don't have a rainy season. The temperature are, if I can say that in centigrade, we rarely go, very, very rarely go below 0, very rarely, maybe every other year. And we normally have temperatures in winter between 8 degrees and 30 degrees. When it's a hot day in winter, you can have 30 degrees. In summer, we have anywhere between 20 degrees, 18 degrees, and 41 degrees. But the temperature feels different. 41 degrees here feels not as hot as 35 degrees in Vienna or in a city. So it's like, it does not feel like 41 degrees. But on the other hand, 13 degrees feels cold, not for a Canadian, but for me as an Austrian, 13 degrees is cold. 8 degrees, you wear gloves and you have something covering your head, yes, not a Canadian loves, no, but everything feels about 5-6 degrees cooler than it actually is. It's a different type of climate.
Fantastic. And someone asked, are there lots of tropical fruits?
Oh man, I'll show you some. I picked them up,
Yay.
and we have pears, and we have lemons, and we have star fruit, and we have pomegranates. This is just what I picked up today in my fruit yard.
Oh
Just
my gosh.
I just go
Wow.
figs. Oh, wonderful figs. We have
Figs.
bananas.
Yes.
Yes, if you're a fruitarian, you love it here because fruits all
Mm.
year round, all year. And I have moringa and I have herbs every day and a salad. I know I have a Vitamix, so I make myself a smoothie every day, and I have 7, 8 different herbs, salads, red, how do you say, roots and carrots. So that's my favorite meal is my smoothie every day.
Thank you. Now, Government in your community. You talked about natural law and do unto others. Do you have a formal structure of rule
There
of
is
law for yourselves?
the condominium reglamento has been written by me. It's about 60 pages and it actually regulates everything. Now, the settlers have not voted on that yet, but the new owners want that. There will be a constitutional meeting and where we will agree on that, on these rules. But there is a management strata, there is a trustee or whatever, an
Administrator.
administrative structure. There's also a structure for settling of disputes. It's all here.
Fantastic. Let's end on this question. There are many people in our community who are vegetarians and there are many who are not. How would that mesh within your community?
Absolutely great. Paraguay is a meat eater country. So the Paraguayans eat mainly meat. A lot of our settlers are vegetarians, vegans. Uh, I would say, I don't know, wouldn't say the majority, but there's a big portion is vegetarian. Vegetable fruits and vegetables, we have a whole agricultural production facility for vegetables. It needs to be run by somebody who knows how to run a farm. Because what you cannot get in Paraguay, you cannot get managers, you cannot get entrepreneurs, you cannot get people who lead. That's not something you find in Paraguay. So we've been running this agricultural thing, and we probably invested $500,000 into it, and we've been running it with Paraguayans. It doesn't work. They cannot plan. They cannot grow a farm. They cannot manage a farm. It needs an American or a Canadian who has run an organic farm in his home country. Come here, look, see, take it over. And we have already made arrangement, like in the restaurant and with the bakery, and with we have made arrangement where they can actually take this over, and we do profit share, even profit share in goods, not even in money. The reason is that the whole agricultural area of this whole settlement, me and my wife, we bought it personally. It's owned by us personally because it was the guarantee that it would be used by the community. If somebody else would have bought it and they would have fenced it off, or they would have whatever, they would have used it for other purposes. We didn't want to do that. So me and my wife, in 23, when we took over, we bought the whole agricultural land, and now we are offering it to those who come here with a plan and with an ambition to take over parts of it and start the agriculture here. Everything is here. All you need to do is take it over.
Thank you, Erwin. I'm going to hand you back over to Karen Klassen. This was so enlightening. I so appreciate your answers.
Thank you.
Thank you, Esther. Great questions. Really appreciate you. Lori, you actually visited
He was here.
Paraguay. I'd love to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, I just wanted to say hi to Erwin. I hope you remember me. I
Yes.
had Christmas dinner, not this year, but the year before. I loved it. I love being in nature. I'm living in the far north in the forest right now. The people there are friendly. I went 2 or 3 times to the little town Casabah with people, and we went out for coffee and a meal, and they have the big market there, which is like a huge dollar store. But you can get whatever you need there. I liked the settlement very much. There were flowers everywhere. And for me, that was lovely. I invested, and I'm probably coming back this coming summer to stay for a longer time this time. I was very much welcomed by everyone there, and I loved the German people. Yeah, it's worth checking out.
Thank you, Lori.
Thank you, Lorraine.
Thanks, Lori.
Thank you.
And Erwin, such an honor getting to know you. I look forward to many more conversations. We're definitely on the same page. Wendy, thank you so much for emailing me continually over the years, and just, you just kept reminding me, and I'm just really grateful to you, and grateful that you said yes to following your own heart as well, because I do believe that after this evening, I think there's going to be a lot of people contacting you, Erwin, and wanting to come and really step on the land and feel the land and be in your space. I think that there's going to be a lot of our members that are going to be making their way to Paraguay.
This is great.
Thank you,
I really
Karen.
love that.
And you were a great inspiration for me, Karen. You really helped me in my transformation. I've continued it, but I started a lot of transformation when I got to know you and your book and the course that I took with you. And I'm interested in your talks because you've given some amazing information. And thank you.
Thank you, Wendy. Appreciate you. Thank everyone for being here, and I'm looking forward to all of us making an amazing journey, moving forward with a positive mindset and an open heart, and knowing that it's really important right now for everyone to have a plan B. To have a second passport, I think, is just optimal. And right now, as I mentioned earlier, Paraguay is number 4 on the list, and I'm highly recommending Paraguay to all of our Lay First Nation members. I'm planning to visit there sometime this spring. I'd love to see you there. Together we rise, everyone. Yay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Great.
Thank you, Erwin.
This was great.
That was great.
Thanks,
Good.
Erwin.
Thank-
Fabulous.
See you in
Thanks,
Paraguay.
Erwin. It's very interesting.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll see you there.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.